This is Harry Judd for Boxing Social in association with Frazer here in Loughborough at the University. I'm delighted to be joined by big Frazer Clarke. First of all, how are you, Frazer?
Yeah, I'm all good, all good.
I saw your Instagram post this morning. Before you put those jogging bottoms on, you had a Team England pair of shorts on. Take me back to those GB memories, and in particular that trip to Mexico, mate.
Yeah, that was Mexico, World Series of Boxing. Myself, Jack Bateson, Cyrus Patterson, Lyndon Arthur. They're all pros now, all doing well. But teammates for life. Just unbelievable times. Traveling the world, having a laugh, boxing in Mexico against a bunch of Mexicans. All wanting to kill us. Walking around the city, it was just crazy. People walking around with guns. There's mad stuff going on everywhere. But we loved it. We were young and didn't care and just carefree. Loved it.
Obviously, those GB memories, the Team England memories, are important for you and in your career. How important were those experiences, especially now in your pro game, in terms of going out to places like Mexico and sparring and fighting those people from other countries, Frazer?
Yeah, I think it's all part of the apprenticeship, and it served me well. Definitely, it was difficult experiences. They were fun experiences, but I'd say overall, just good memories and sort of character building. Every trip was character building because you might think you're travelling with Team GB and this and that. There's nothing luxury about it. You stayed where you stayed. You might get a good one sometimes. You might get a really bad one, but you were there to fight. You were there to win and represent the country. So it was all good.
We spoke off camera now about the GB setup, etc. I did mention I spoke to Andy Clark, who follows the amateurs through and through as well. I spoke to him about the unfortunate events on Sunday. It seems that the Olympics has been plunged in, the boxing and the Olympics has been plunged into further doubt. How much of an impact will it be if boxing is not part of LA 2028, mate?
Crisis. National crisis for me. What it does is it filters down. It takes young people's dreams away. It keeps young people out of gyms, and if they're not in gyms, where are they? They're out on the streets causing mayhem or getting up to no good. We know how much boxing changed lives, and amateur boxing gyms are one of the places that does that. If kids have got no incentive, you walk in an amateur boxing gym, 9 times out of 10 there's a poster somewhere. There's an Anthony Joshua, a Nicola Adams, a Joe Joyce, maybe even a Frazer Clarke here and there. People wanting to go to the Olympic Games. Now, no incentive, no Olympic Games. Less people start training. Less people start going to the clubs. More people start hanging out on the streets. More people start getting up to no good. It's filtered all the way down. Taking the boxing out of the Olympics for me is just disgusting. There's no disrespect to any other sport, but there's other sports there that they probably look better on the camera. They're probably better for society, let's say nowadays. But you're never gonna find another sport that builds character like boxing, makes characters like boxing, and makes superstars that go on to make a difference to then sort of bring the next generation through and inspire the next generation. So you take away boxing from the Olympics, you're taking away generations of inspiration, you're taking away clubs, you're taking away passion, people's passions. Just not a good look. And that's not just for England, that's worldwide. That's worldwide.
In terms of your relationship, obviously you've been signed with Boxer, the plethora of ex-GB athletes with Boxer. I was honoured to be at the Sky Sports, the all-female card a couple of weeks ago, which was unfortunately postponed. But you wouldn't have got that card, arguably, without the Olympics. The amount of Olympians on that card, the amount of Olympic gold medalists, Clarissa Shields, for example.
Clarissa Shields, unbelievable fighter. Even Savannah Marshall, Lauren Price, Caris, Caroline DeBar, the list goes on. And like I say, these people, and you can go back as far as you want. You can go back to Muhammad Ali, Olympic champion, and keep coming through the generations. Mayweather, De La Hoya, the list goes on. Pernell Whitaker, the list goes on and on and on. These are greats, and absolute greats. And we get to the modern day, you like I say, your Joshua's, your Nicola Adams. And every person I've just mentioned have gone on to inspire other generations. Now, you take away these key figures, you take away these people that are trying to strive for greatness to inspire the next generation, what they got? And you're telling me this country's especially, I think boxing is very important. I've seen firsthand how many lives it saved, and I've seen firsthand how many people have left the boxing gym and gone down the wrong road. I've seen that. Friends of mine, once upon a stage, I walk past him now where I live in my hometown. I think, oh my God, he was a good boxer once upon a time. What's he doing now? He's not doing good stuff.
You, out of many people, use your platform to inspire others. I mean, you came out at the Liverpool show during the press conference at Anfield. You were eloquent in terms of it was quite compelling. We knew what was going on at the time, but do you see your platform and you as an athlete, is it more than boxing for you?
Of course, I don't think of myself any better than anyone else in any situation, but I know you sitting here with a camera in my face and being with a camera in my face most of the time, I feel like I have a duty of a message to spread, and whether that helps, whether it don't, I don't know. But if it can connect to one person and stop, like I say, I always just call it madness, because that's what it is, complete and utter madness that we're seeing, up and down the country. I've just literally 2 minutes ago looked on Facebook there, and Burton-on-Trent, where I live, this isn't an instance of a stabbing or a shooting. Just some youngsters have kicked the living daylights out of a gentleman. It's asking for some directions, and it's making me sick. And I have to be careful what I say, because I will go vigilante. I won't have it. Not where I live anyway. Not where my kids are going to grow up. It won't happen. So I am looking for information on that. And anyone goes on my Facebook, you see the story, especially Burton people. Someone knows something. Please get to me, because things need to be dealt with correctly.
That's obviously quite a personal take on that issue. You've obviously got a personal relationship with knife crime and anti-knife crime. You are a victim of knife crime. Again, I don't want to go in too much, but can you discuss what that was like for you, mate?
Yes, it's not good, obviously. I was one of the lucky ones. There's a lot of people that have been in the same situation as me that don't live to tell the story. Like I say, maybe I was up to no good at the time. But, I think up to no good or not, putting a knife in someone else is just, it's not acceptable in any circumstances, you know what I mean? Unless we're in the middle of a war, you don't need to be carrying a knife around. It changes people's lives, ruins lives, not just the victim's lives, it ruins the attacker, his family's life, because ultimately we're in 2022, you're going to go to jail, There's cameras everywhere. People talk. You go into jail. Your life is over. What, for some reputation between you and your friends on Instagram, or just to have a reputation on the block? Of what? Come on, go out, live your life, get some education, or go and work your way up in a job. Go and start a sport, get money, get nice things. And try and enjoy life, better yourself. Just enjoy the good things and relax. If you've got that much of a dispute with someone, there's plenty of places like this available. Go and put some gloves on and go and have a punch up. Big head guard, big gloves, little bit of frustration taken out with each other. Everyone's all right then, don't everyone goes home okay?
You are using your platform as being a role model. It must be good for you, though, to have Thomas Robinson here with you. He was sparring in that ring, and you were great in terms of sharing some insight and giving him some advice, etc. Can you see yourself as a coach later on down the line? Because you've got all the attributes of that.
I think so. I think it's destined for me. It's like I say, after the captaincy role at the Olympics, it's just something that's been in me for years. And I like to pass my knowledge, and I don't know everything. I've got a lot more to learn, and I never will know everything. But if someone's told it me and I think it's good information, I feel the need to pass it on, especially to Thomas, a young lad. He's at a vulnerable age now, 17. He's got all the talent in the world. Maybe just going away from using it, you get interested in other things. He's just at the age now, obviously, there's women, drink, cars, all stuff that youngsters do, which is fine. But I think he needs to remember, and that's why I'm here I brought him in here to try and help him. This is my brother-in-law, so I brought him in here to try and help him, give him some inspiration to see the last training. His first week, he's been fantastic. He's listened, he's learned. It's a totally different Thomas that I've seen back home. And if you're willing to learn, and you're going to come in here and behave, I'm here to help anyone. That's just that. If I can help you in your boxing, I will do.
Thomas may be a little bit different. I mean, his dad runs and owns the South Derbyshire Boxing Academy, so perhaps Thomas, hopefully, won't go down that route. But again, it's great that you're here and he's getting the experience of training with Angel Fernandez, obviously sparring a moment ago. So even though he's an amateur and a youth champion, national youth champion, he's getting some good experience with you.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's about. He doesn't come in there. No one's punching lumps out of him. He might get caught with the odd shot, but it's just lessons. It's just character building. We're not trying to turn him into a pro or anything like that. He's in here, firmly understanding that he can improve his amateur style by being around us. Amateur boxing is changing all the time. You've got to be robust now. And the best thing that happened to Thomas, for me, he went to a box cup last week in Ireland and he lost. It's the best thing for him. He's come back here with no excuses other than he needs to do better, work harder, and learn more. And he's brought himself here. He didn't have to come. He's been here every day this week when he's been invited. Whether he's going to turn up or not, we didn't know. He's come back every day. And that's the attitude you want to see from youngsters. And that's not just in boxing, that's in anything in life, Ups and downs, studying, work, life, just in general. Keep coming back and keep working hard and keep trying to, better yourself. And like I say, Thomas, he's not an angel. He's a good lad, but he's not an angel. He's good times, bad times. And like I say, he's at that age. But I think definitely for most of the youth and everyone involved, this is good lessons for people. Put yourself in good environments around good people. Use your P's and Q's, and it goes a long way.
He's out at a Swedish Box Cup very soon, so we'll look out for that one. But let's go back quickly to last weekend. You were behind me, could hear you in my ear shouting directions, But you called it. You knew that's what was going to happen, that fight. Joe Joyce was going to end the fight late on, but just give me your reaction to it, because I didn't get a chance to speak to you afterwards, mate.
Yeah, great fight. Really enjoyed it. I did call it. I knew Joe Parker's tough as nails, I fought him. He's a Kiwi. I know what them boys are about. They're tough people. He's a proud person. He's got a family at home which he's trying to provide for. I know how much that drives people on. So if he was going to get taken out, it was never going to be an early thing, because like I say, his pride would have just got him through it. He had good tactics as such. Tactics are good with Joe Joyce, but doing it for 3 minutes of 12 rounds is very difficult for anyone. Joyce, on the other hand, I think a lot of people just discredit Joyce for just being a guy that goes in there and throws a lot of punches and wears you down. If you actually watch it back, and I was impressed, his distance, his hand position, yeah, he got caught. He's always going to get caught. He's not a defensive genius, but there's definitely improvements, and I think he has a better understanding of the game now than he did a few years ago. He plays to his strengths. He's big, he's slow, he's robotic. Yeah, you try and stop it. He's good at what he does, and every success to him.
You have shared the ring with both of them. I mean, one of the most memorable things is your NACs that's now called against Joe Joyce. You've experienced him. How tough is he as an opponent, mate?
Yeah, he's a very tough man. Very fit, very strong, very determined. Gentle giant outside the ring, but you get in there, there's a ferocious look in his eyes. He's got the big head, the big shoulders, the scar on his face. He looks the real deal, He's an intimidating person when he's in there and he's coming forward. He uses his size, his strength, his attributes, his long jab, his 1-2. When he leans on you, he really does. He's a heavy man, and he started winging them body shots in now as well, especially in the pros. 3 or 4 of them throughout the fight, and you slowed right down. He knows what he's doing. He's a good fighter.
You're right, though. There's been lots and lots and lots of criticism on him throughout his career so far. But, that was for the WBO interim title. Again, does he beat Usyk? That's the main question.
Obviously, I've took a load of stick because after the fight I said he beats Usyk. Do I believe he can beat Usyk? Absolutely. Absolutely, I think he can.
I don't think the only one that said that, though. I think many people said it.
Styles make fights, don't they? Do you know what I mean? And people are going, well, if AJ can beat him, how can Joyce beat him? Joyce and AJ are 2 different animals. On his day, if Joe turns up and Usyk doesn't, or Usyk isn't, well, if they both turn up, Joe can win the fight. But like I say, that second fight with AJ, I might be wrong. I think Usyk was a yard slower. I think he was a little tiny bit slower. I don't know if that's because he didn't put weight on, but he's definitely maturing as a heavyweight. You know, I think Joe Joyce he's a lot more physical than Joshua. He's lean on you. He's a bit unpredictable as well. You don't know what he's going to throw. He's not your conventional boxer. So maybe it troubles Usyk. Maybe I'm totally wrong and he outboxed him for 12 rounds. And he's very smart and very cute about it. But, you know, you can't write Big Joe off against anyone.
Obviously, now, you know, when you were last out, it was disappointed to say the least. You were disappointed. You know, just take me back to that Liverpool fight. Yeah, it was just a weird one, wasn't it? Really, I mean, he was a good journeyman, you know, a good record and stuff, but just didn't come to fight, Frazer.
It was a weird one, and people won't understand this. Not the general public or the people on Instagram and on Twitter that haven't got, you know, the ones that like. They've not got their face on the picture.
Yeah, got like weird usernames.
They've got like weird usernames, and they have pictures of Muhammad Ali and they have pictures of other fighters fighting each other, probably obese, breathing like nachos, bottle of Coke. Frazer Clarke fights bin men. Frazer Clarke shit this that whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like the way I see it is an experience. It's an experience again. It wasn't a great one, but it's another experience. You know, I've been through loads of them in boxing. And you just get on with it. Obviously, at the time, I was a bit disappointed. It's gone. I'm happy, you know. I'm smiling. I didn't learn nothing from the fight, but it's another chance to be in the environment. Another fight week, another weigh-in, another press conference. That ring walk, being in the ring in front of the good Liverpool fans. Not the fight I wanted. Don't get me wrong. But I got in there and I did what I had to do. It's not our fault that he's 7-0 with 5 knockouts, and he's obviously boxed no one. It's not my fault that he obviously said he was a lot heavier than he was, and he come in, he's 15 stone 4 and I'm 19 stone whatever. That's not my fault. Do you know what I mean? Like, he wants to get in there. He wanted the fight obviously, because if not, he wouldn't have been there. So, not my problem. That's what I say. Do you know what I mean? Nothing to do with me. Not my problem. I get in there and fight, whether he's good or whether he's not. That's on him, innit?
It's a bit odd because those step-up fights, you know, which you normally have in your progression from an amateur, well, you know, early on pro, they don't seem to be around at the moment.
I spoke about this, and I've spoke about it well. You know, there might have been an era of boxers gone, a heavyweight, like a generation gone now, possibly, like because it is the problem. Like, obviously, I'm gearing up to fight Sabolowski, which I think is a difficult fight. His record doesn't do him justice. I'm preparing for him with 100%, you know, commitment and focus, because I think he's a difficult fight. But then you have your likes of, another name's been mentioned, Kevin Johnson. Now, still a difficult fight, awkward fight. People can say, yeah, he's 40 years old. That's not my fault. Like I say, them tough guys now that are sort of the gatekeepers, there isn't that many about. They're either a little bit over the hill, and they'll probably still will fight because they'll get a few quid. But then, all I get is you're fighting an old man. So I don't know whether it's a case of rushing, which we definitely don't want to do, and fighting other prospects sooner, or is it a case of, you know, you fight these people and just get no credit for it? I think it's something that, you know, I'm definitely wanting to sit down with my team and Boxer and Sky and just to get a few names on the table and just have a look at, you know, the right way to just navigate on who we actually compete against. Because, like I say, the names aren't there. I remember I always go back to Joshua coming through and I look at the big fella from Leicester. He boxed Paul.
Anyway, the point, yeah.
Well, Matt Skelton's, Eric Molina's, people like, do you know what I'm saying? So, and they were probably just a little bit past it, but they were still there on the day. There ain't too many of them around, do you know what I mean? So, and the thing is, them names there when I talk about, you talk about Matt Skelton, you recognise him. You talk about Eric Molina, you recognise the name. You talk about the others, you recognise the names. The problem we've got at the minute, we've got all these guys from Europe. Ronald Yakunilov of Bulgaria, who's had
The one and only.
who's had 10 and won 10 with 8 knockouts. People, another one of them. Do you know what I mean? It's just the way it is. Like, well, I can't do nothing about it, can I?
But this is a tough test. You know, Sokolowski comes to fight. He's one that puts on the tempo as well. So, you know, hopefully we'll see a little bit more about what you've got to offer, Frazer. You excited more for this one?
I'm excited. You know, we've got a face to think about when times are getting hard, and like, you know, we're doing a good circuit the other day, a tough one, intense, and you know, I've got his face in front of me just because I'm thinking, you know, that's the man that's trying to stop me getting to where I'm going to need to go to. I can't do nothing more than that, can I? Do you know what I mean? It's nice. We've got a name. We got it in early. And you know what? To be honest, people called for this fight since my debut. People called, oh, get him in with Camille. Get him in with Camille. It's here now, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Let's get it done. I've got a lot of respect for him. I've got a lot of respect for what he does. Could he upset the apple cart if I'm not focused? Absolutely. Am I focused? 100%. 100%. You know, I've been in the gym for 2 and a bit weeks. I had a little holiday. I've been in the gym for 2 and a bit weeks now. And then next week we'll step it up again and just keep progressing, stepping it up. Got good sparring coming today, as you've seen. It's not easy sparring. Big lads, amateurs that come and throw a lot of shots. And like I say, I can only get better. You know, we're still in the early stage of camp, but I feel good for where we're at, and I'm just going to progress and, you know, try my best. That's all I can do. So to everyone giving me shit, back off. I'm just a fighter that's trying to earn some dough, win some titles, get fatter than I am, and enjoy my life. Maybe play golf at the end of it or something. I don't know.
I don't think anyone can argue with that. But in terms of your plans, you know, you obviously activity at the moment is key. Let's park this until obviously November 12th. You get that out of the way. But are we likely to see you again by the end of the year? And then what's the plans 2023, mate?
Possibly. I don't see why not. Like I say, it was unfortunate this year that, you know, the hand injury happened at the beginning of the year, and it just sort of messed the rhythm up a little bit. Do you know what I mean? But we're getting back on track now. I've had 2 fights since. If I can get another one in December, happy days. You know, Merry Christmas to me. But if not, then, you know, we'll have a good rest, and we'll get ready to hit 2023 very hard. And let's not beat around the bush. Let's be honest. I think 2023, by the time I'm 18 months as a pro, and I don't want to sound, you know, big-headed. I want to be challenging for the British title. You know, I think the lads that are up for it are going to be Nathan Gorman, Fabio Ward. I think they're going to box for it eventually.
Yeah, I think that's a massive, massive fight. That, I mean, it's not announced yet, but that's in the plans to go ahead.
Yeah, I've heard it rolling around. And then, obviously, I look at the rankings. You see, old teammate Solomon's up there now. You know, he's 5-0. There's myself. There's other people that are going to be in the mix. So, you know, I think the all British dust-ups. I know it's early on, and people don't want to.
I don't think it's early on. I don't think 18 months you professional. I mean, look at your amateur resume. You know.
Exactly. What I'm on about the all British clashes. You know, people don't like them, do they? The fans like them, but people don't want them because people don't want to lose, and people don't want to lose an O and this and that. But it's just like back in the days, like in the ABA, you just box each other, do you know what I mean? And
yeah, they'd rather win like a WBC international title, for example, or WBA international, not a British title, which I think many people were urging for.
I mean, I get it. The business side of things, it moves up the rankings. You get a few more quid when you fight for better. You get bigger fights, a few more quid, blah 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 blah. It's a load of bullshit. Them belts, aren't they? You might as well go to Primark and buy a belt and wrap it around your waist. Do you know what I mean? Too many belts now, but it is what it is. It's the business side, isn't it? And I get it. Ultimately, we're here to get paid, aren't we? But let's have some good fights. I'm sure they'll come down the line, and yeah, I'll get some stuff. Oh, he's management only picked these fights for him. Blah, blah. Listen, I'm telling you now from the horse's mouth, I will fight anyone. I don't care. I've fought since I was 11 years old. I've fought better people than me, and I've beat them. With people with bigger names that I wasn't supposed to beat, I've beat them. I've been smashed in the face by a lot of big fellas. I'm here for it. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think anyone questions that. But how big is that card on November 12th in Manchester? A great fighting city, Frazer.
Love it. I love being in Manchester. Manchester's like becoming my second home. You know, Manchester, Sheffield. I love these places. Great fight. I'm just more buzzing that, you know, I'm on the undercard of Natasha Jonas. You know, she's like a sister to me, and you know, to see how well she's doing now, it just makes me so proud, and I'm just over the moon to be on her undercard, to be honest.
She seems to just break all records. You know, it's just like another one.
Yeah, do you know why? Because as a person, She's an unbelievable person. As a fighter, she's an unbelievable fighter. And just when people might write you off and you might have ups and downs in your careers, it'll probably happen to me. It's probably happened to a lot of fighters. You can't sleep on people with big hearts. You can't, because they ain't got no quit in them. Tasha's got no quit in her, and she's a real fighter, a real fighting person. So, massive love to her. She's definitely one of the people I look up to in the sport. So, yeah, over the moon to be on her undercard. And once I've done my fighting, I'll be out there watching her 100%.
Yeah, I think you two are so similar in the way you approach the sport. Again, obviously, you both boxed in Liverpool, and it was some real similarities in how you both approach the sport, how you both present yourself as fighters. But yeah, again, I think many people are looking out for that one. And obviously, Ricky Hatton's fighting on the same night, which is massive.
That's massive. Do you know what I mean? Like, in itself, I think that's going to sell the tickets for me, really. Ricky Hatton fighting, because let's just face it, like me growing up, me coming up, he was one of the ones, to watch. He was the man. Ricky Hatton was unbelievable. He had us like on the edge of our seats. He was excited. He had the fan base, and he's just another good guy. Only Falls and Horses fan like myself, so I can't complain. I'm happy to be on that card with Ricky Hatton on there. But I think that's a real good fight as well. The other one on there, Dalton Smith versus Casey. Oh, his second name. Yeah, but that's a good fight as well. That's a Dalton Smith, a good friend of mine, and his dad, great people, great boxing people. I've got so much love and respect for them.
Yeah, especially his dad Grant with the big gym in Sheffield. And a massive stable he's got there as well.
Yeah, good stable. There was a time before the Olympics where I was training with Grant for a bit. He was helping me out because motivation was low just after COVID. Things weren't so great. He put his arm around me and he let me in the gym, and he taught me a few things that that still stick in my mind now, and I always think about now. Great people, and one of the most talented fighters in the country, Dalton Smith. 100% superstar in the making. Sheffield's next rising star, without a doubt. There's been some great fighters come from that city, but for me, he definitely fits into the mould of the headliner to fill that stadium in the future, 100%.
Yeah, and I think Sheffield are looking out for that. A man from their city, and it was great to see him headline in Sheffield and Sheffield Arena. And what a performance against Samo Mason! I mean, fantastic to win that British title.
Good fight as well. Samo Mason, he brought it as well. You know what I mean? He came, and obviously I've been in Sheffield, stayed in Sheffield for like 10 years, and I know what it means. Them local rivalries. It really is local rivalries. You know what I mean? So I think especially after Kel. They needed the next person, to cry out for him, and for me, Dalton's just that. He's got everything as a fighter. And I knew this very early on. I seen Dalton box in the amateurs. He was on the team with me. We went around the world. I seen him box a Cuban called Toledo.
Tough Cubans, aren't they?
Very, very good fighter. Unbelievable fighter, in fact. And Dalton really did hold his own. He was very young against an experienced fighter, and from that second on I thought, yeah, this guy's got something about him, and he obviously proved me right.
Obviously, I have to mention, as he's one of your stable mates, the current situation with the AJ Fury thing. Again, let's just get because these fights are not made on social media, and you've been quite vocal in that, Frazer.
Yeah, a load of bollocks. I'm getting sick of it now. I'm bored as everyone else is. Signed the contract with the lawyers. Why not just have a phone call between yourselves, or your managers, promoters, whatever. Right, the contract's going to be this long. All right, no worries, do it then. Well, I want to fight December the 3rd. Well, if you can do it December the 3rd, do it December 3rd. If not, it's axed, innit? And we wait again. Simple as that. But it's when they take to social media, it's just like, for me, if he's taking to social media, I don't know if he's bored or what. Just let's just let everyone know that AJ's not signed the contract. Well, the contract's with the legal people. Do you know what I mean? I'm inexperienced in this field. This is mega fight, so I don't.
No, but I think many people are.
I don't really have a clue about what goes on legally in that. But I'm just the same as everyone in the public. Like, are you fighting or are you not fighting? Do you know what I mean? Until then, shut the fuck up on social media, because you're boring the fucking life out of us. That's everyone. Do you know what I mean? Frank Warren, Eddie, just back and forward. You're like fucking kids in the schoolyard, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Just get the fight done.